so I'm gonna jump straight into it with the moisturizers that I've been using. It's Rhode glazing milk, and I've been using this French cream. So I heard you guys' feedback in my soft glam. A lot of you guys liked it, but you were a bit worried if when you tried it, 3 layers of makeup would be too low. I simpled it down and I found a great summertime routine. I'm gonna use 3, but not in the way that I used it last time. This Hourglass concealer, and then I have my favorite concealer ever, my Milani. Hourglass concealer is in the shade Brandy, and then my Milani is in the shade Warm 170 Almond. I'll show you one more time. This is what they look like. I'm gonna apply the Hourglass everywhere but under the eyes. For some reason, this concealer creases really bad under the eyes. I don't know why, so I'd never put it there. And also, I feel like for a concealer to be $40, that should not be happening. So I can't recommend this for you, but if you have it, definitely pull it out. Just don't use it under your eyes, because that's where all of the creasing will happen. But I haven't noticed it being an issue anywhere else. Yeah, so no foundation today, and I'm just gonna apply this right under the eye. I still do the V. I know that they were saying that's like an old technique, I don't get how, but it's what I do. Applying it right under there. And then I'm also gonna apply the Milani over my mouth, because I have discoloration there. Okay, so now I'm gonna blend everything out, starting with the under eye first, because I don't want any of that Hourglass under the eye. Do you guys see how creamy that is and how little effort it needs just to blend out? This is why it's my favorite concealer. Everything about it is amazing. It's affordable, it's creamy, they have a good selection of colors. As long as you go on the website though. If you go anywhere else, you're not gonna find all of the color ranges. So pretty, so skin-like. For me, it's a 10 out of 10. And you never have to worry about it creasing. This concealer has never creased on me, not once. It's definitely worth the $10, unlike the Hourglass, which is $40 almost. And it definitely has that creasing. If the lighting changed, that's my bad, I just adjusted it, guys. Okay, so everything is already blended out with the Milani. Just wanna make sure. Also kind of bringing it down because I don't have that layer of foundation on. So now we blend. I'm gonna start right here. In pressing motions, I'm not sure how it shows up on camera, but I'm definitely pressing it and blending it out. I'm not swiping. We never do swiping motions. And just blending out the other one. Okay, I think everything looks great. Just to make sure the coverage is nice and blended out, I'm just gonna take a dense concealer. This is the Absolute New York Pro Concealer Brush MT BR04. I'm just gonna make sure everything is blended out before I go ahead and go in with my bronzer. Okay, so my bronzer of choice, oh my god, I love it so much. It's gonna be the Milk Bronzer. This is the Milk Makeup Bronzer in the shade Blitzed. I think it's the second darkest one that they have. I'm just gonna take this eyeshadow brush that I use as a contour brush, and you could apply it directly on your face. I don't like to do that because it's so pigmented, you can get carried away. So I'm just gonna, actually for my forehead, I am gonna do that. Why do I stay lying like that? But I'm only gonna go in with a little bit at first, you guys. Just be careful though if you don't go in with a brush like me. You don't want to do too much. And I'm going to do my nose with the brush. Gonna go straight down. Try to make the line as straight as you possibly can. Just because I can't put concealer in between my nose. Make no mistakes. So now I'm gonna take this Evian spray that I've been using for years, but I just now came back to it. This is great for hydrating and also blending things out. This is so creamy, you don't need to do that, but I just want to do it just to hydrate my skin some more. And you see how pigmented that is. Okay, for my placement, I kind of didn't explain this, but I pretty much do all of my forehead. I just leave the middle because it makes my forehead look smaller. And then also, I bronze the cheeks, obviously, to add color back in. And one thing that I've been doing lately is kind of like just dragging it down. I find that when you do that, it slims out your face a lot more. Okay, I'm looking in the camera and I know I need to blend out a little bit more. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take the same Flawless brush that I used. I'm gonna lightly press against where I applied the bronzer. And that's all we need to do to blend it out. Okay, so now for my concealer, I'm gonna go in with this Lancôme Tan Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. It's in the shade Sue W. This is what it looks like because you guys always ask me. So it looks like. And I'm gonna use this just to highlight the eyes. And I say this in like all of my videos, but I can't stress it enough. The reason why I do 2 concealers instead of 1, it's not for more coverage, it's to create depth. The more moisturized your skin is, the more better it's gonna look. And then also, the more depth you can add, the more skin-like it's gonna look. I mean, when you think about it, when you're not wearing makeup, you have at least 4 to 5 different shades on your face. So you want to do the same thing with makeup. Going in with my chin. As far as now, I think I'm good. If I need to add more bronzer or concealer, I definitely will later. I'm gonna use this Morphe M173 brush. I used these brushes last night, that's why they look like that. And I'm gonna keep my movements fairly small, because that is the whole point of this, to brighten up. Also, I'm just gonna try to sharpen this nose contour with the concealer. But other than that, we're keeping it right under the eye. I'm not done yet, I'm just gonna go on to the other eye. And then I'm now on to the chin. Gonna again take that big brush, make sure everything's blended out nicely. So I'm gonna go in between the bronzer and the concealer just to make sure everything's smooth. Good. It's at this point when you want to assess, make sure everything looks good before going on to the next step, which is blush and powder. So I think I could just use like a tiny bit more bronzer. When I think of summer, I think of super bronzed, brown, golden, black, melanin. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit more, just a little bit. You can never look too dark, especially not over summer. So I know it's not technically summer, but I live in Florida, so it's summer. It feels like summer. I really didn't add much just now, but we are also going to set this with a bronzing powder, so I don't want to do too much. We still have more. We're more than halfway done now. Okay, so now we're going on to the next thing, and I'm really excited about it because Rhode has definitely did her big one. So now I'm going to go on with the blush that I am using is the Rhode Pocket Blush. I'm trying to open it. So this is what it looks like right here. I have not one bad thing to say about this blush. A lot of the times when I look at blushes and they look like this, when I apply it, it looks like it's pink lipstick on my cheek, like Nicki Minaj's pink Brandy lipstick, that pink that she had. It will look like this, but it will go on like that, and I hate it. Also, this blends out so well. 10 out of 10 product. They can't do anything better. Now, because this blush is so pigmented, I don't directly apply it on my face. I'm just like not gonna do that. I'm gonna go in with this, I think this is a contour brush. It doesn't matter what brush you use. I'm gonna go in with that, and I'm just gonna take a little bit, just a little bit, and gonna apply it high. As you guys know, I like my blush high. Now with this, I'm not gonna apply a powder blush, so I'm gonna do a little bit more than how I want it to look at the end, because once you put on the powders and stuff, it does low-key kind of fade away. This is such a beautiful blush, you guys. I really hope the camera is doing it justice. The thing is, you can be looking in the camera, and then when you go to edit, things look so different. So I hope that this is doing it justice. Mind you, I want it to be a little bit darker than how it's going to be in the end. Honestly, a very good impression of Rhode so far. The first two things I like, I genuinely love, and I don't see room for improvement, so I will be continuing to buy that. So before I go in with the powder, I'm just going to make sure everything is blended out. Like I've said before, my concealer, I never have to worry about creasing or anything like that, but I'm just gonna make sure everything is blended out before I go in with that powder. I am gonna go in with the Laura Mercier powder. I always use that. I ended up trying the Fenty powder, pressed powder. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in with this, and we're gonna do a thin amount. So first I'm actually gonna do my nose. I forgot to set my nose with the Hoola Toasted Coconut Bronzer. And now we go in with the powder. Now I'm just going to set under the eye, where my pores are, right here. I'm actually going to bake right here, just because that's where my pores are, and I've been a little bit oily right there. I don't love that. So that's why I'm baking there. And then under the eye on this side. Forehead. Chin. And then around the mouth. Really make sure once it's on there nice and evenly that you press everything out to make sure it's smooth. But only focus it where the concealer is. You don't want to look, I'm not going for a matte look, but I'm also not going for a dewy one either. So while that's on there, I always bake while I do my bronzer and my powder blush. So I'm going to go back in with the Hoola Toasted Coconut. Going under the Actually, while that's on there, we can go ahead and move to the lips. I know I'm probably looking nuts right now. I'm gonna wipe the concealer off. I'm gonna go with the Kiss lip liner in the shade Chocolate. I follow my lip line at the bottom, but when it goes to the top, I'm gonna overline the middle, and I'm gonna stop right here. I also have double lined lips, which makes it so much easier. And now I'm gonna go like a half a millimeter or a millimeter up. And then follow my lip line down. That is the trick to overlining your lips and it not looking crazy. I don't know if I want to do something chocolate or if I want to do something pink. Let's try the chocolate one. So I'm gonna go in with, should I do the chocolate? I'm debating if I should do this e.l.f. lip oil or if I should just immediately go in with the Makeup Wherever Walnut. I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna test out the Wherever Walnut Makeup Forever. And let's see what it looks like. It looks kind of purple on camera, but it's not. It's definitely brown. Now I'm actually going to go on with the e.l.f. on top and just see what that looks like. Okay, I'm glad that I did both. So one final step that I'm gonna have to do before I wipe off the powder is I'm gonna apply highlight. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of highlight, but when I think of summer, I definitely do think of highlight. So we're gonna do that. Let me just wipe off my nose. Powder. And I'm gonna go in with the Master Chrome Studio highlighter on my nose. This is what it looks like. I've used this before. A very light amount, and I go in between, like right under the eye, and then right there, so it makes an exclamation point. A soft difference. For my face, I'm actually going to use, this palette is so old, it's such a throwback. This is the It's My Ray Ray palette. It has eyeshadows, bronzers, contours, literally everything in it. It was my favorite palette for years. Actually kind of still is because it's so efficient, especially for brown girls like us. Now you can't buy this palette anymore, but it doesn't matter. Just use any highlight that suits you, and if you have this palette, definitely pull this out. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go in with this one. I'm gonna spray. Probably should have did that first. And then apply that. Okay, and let me just make sure everything is blended out. Okay, so this is my finished summer butter bronze makeup routine. It's really only 2 concealers, there's no foundation. We are super bronzed, super extremely bronzed, and it just gives some sound. This is the finished look. Thank you so much for watching. I also want to mention that all of the shades will either be linked on my Amazon storefront in the description box or right under that link. And yeah, that's it. I feel a little nervous, it's been a minute. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And since you're already there right next to the subscribe button, you might as well follow me on my Instagram. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm pretty quick with responding. And until next time.
They don't love me anyway. I don't get my feelings hurt. I know the ceilings, but don't